All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something that is so crucial in design, but often gets overlooked until it's too late. It's a step that can seriously make or break a user's entire experience before you've even written a single line of code. We're talking about early interaction planning.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're on a website, you spend all this time filling out a form, you hit that submit button, and then just crickets. Nothing happens. And for that split second, you're totally lost. Did it work? Should I click it again? Is the whole site broken? That little moment of panic and confusion, that's exactly what we're here to talk about and how to prevent it.
So, why do we need to hammer this out so early in a project? Well, because it's all about making a choice. You're choosing to guide your user's experience from a place of potential chaos and confusion to a place of absolute clarity. Think about it. Without a plan, an interface can feel totally random. One button fades out, another one slides away, a third one just vanishes. That inconsistency, it's confusing. And honestly, it makes users lose trust. But when you plan it all out from the start, you create a system that's predictable. The user starts to learn the language of your app, and that leads to clarity and, most importantly, confidence. Okay, so how do we get to that crystal clear state? We do it by defining the details right up front. I want you to think about it less like you're designing a static screen and more like you're shaping a conversation between the user and the interface. You're making sure both sides know what's going on. So let's put a pin in it. What are we actually talking about here? Early interaction planning. It is the process of figuring out how users are going to engage with every little thing on the screen, buttons, pop-ups, transitions, you name it, before you get bogged down in the heavy development work. This isn't just some nice-to-have extra step. It is the fundamental blueprint for the entire experience.
And we're not just talking big picture stuff here. We're talking about getting into the nitty-gritty details. You know, what happens when you click a button? How do new screens show up? What happens when you just hover over something? What do confirmation messages even look like? These tiny little micro interactions, they're the building blocks that all add up to create the entire macro experience. And at the end of the day, everything, and I mean everything, has to be seen through the eyes of the user. The one question you should be asking yourself over and over again is this: what is my user trying to do right now? And how can my interface immediately show them, yep, I got it, and here's what's happening next? You can actually picture this conversation as a really simple loop. First, the user does something, right? They click submit. Second, and this is the part we can't forget, the system gives them immediate feedback, like showing a little loading spinner. That leads to the third and final step. The user gets it. They understand. Okay, cool, my form is being processed. That simple loop is the absolute bedrock of intuitive design. Now, when you nail this level of clarity, you're building something that's even more precious than just a good design. You're building user confidence. And the secret sauce for building that confidence, it's all about consistency. There's a core idea here that's so important. Consistency in interactions also builds trust. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? When every button acts the same way and every confirmation message looks familiar, the user starts to feel like they're on solid ground. Your system feels reliable, professional. In other words, it feels trustworthy. But the payoff here isn't just about that immediate user experience. All this early planning work acts as a blueprint for growth. You're setting your project up for success, not just for launch day, but for week 7 and beyond. This brings us to a really vital concept for any growing project: prototype scalability. And don't worry, it sounds more complicated than it is. It's really just about your ability to add new screens or features later on without breaking all the rules you've already set. If you've decided how all error messages should look and behave, adding a new feature that might have an error is no big deal. You just follow your own blueprint. And this is where it's going to make a huge difference in your actual day-to-day workflow. When you build this strong foundation of interaction rules, you're creating a super smooth bridge from those static wireframes to a fully interactive prototype. You're not making it up as you go anymore. You're just executing a plan that you already know works. So I want to leave you with a question to really think about. Look at whatever project you're working on right now. What is one small interaction, a button state, a transition, a simple confirmation message that you can define right now, today, that will save you and your whole team a massive headache down the line? That right there is the power of early interaction planning. Thanks for tuning in.